Former Vice President Dick Cheney, known for his toughness on terror, but Fox's own James Rosen went toe-to-toe with the tough Vice President. James just wrote the new book, Cheney One. James Rosen is here to go on the record. Nice to see you, James.
Thank you, Greta.
Congratulations for the new book.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so what surprised you most about the Vice President?
Probably how willing he was to open up to me. I spent 10 hours interviewing the Vice President across 3 days in his own home, in his own study in Northern Virginia, shortly before he turned 74 years of age. And we covered his entire life, his childhood, his relationships with his parents, his spiritual faith, something you never hear Dick Cheney talk about in any depth, the presidents he's known, the foreign leaders, the mistakes made in Iraq. Across all of these subjects, you have never heard Dick Cheney open up like this.
You mentioned Iraq. Say anything about the fact no weapons of mass destruction?
Oh, we got into that in great detail. But he still believes that the Iraq invasion was the right decision, that the world is better off with Saddam Hussein gone, and that Iraq, for all the myriad problems that country faces, is better off by virtue of its exhibiting the signs, as it does, of a flourishing democracy with free elections, a free press. Nonetheless, he admitted to me about the mistakes that he and George W. Bush made at various stages of the Iraq conflict.
If he had known at the time there were no weapons of mass destruction, he still would have done it. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Okay, so not about. All right, he's sometimes called Darth Vader. Now, and this is a big Star Wars time. So,
yes.
How does he feel about that?
I'm grateful for any cross-promotion opportunities. It wasn't until the final question of our 10 hours, Greta, that I finally let that term, Darth Vader, escape my lips. And I asked if he thinks that caricature of him is going to prevail in historical memory of him, such that he's popularly or widely misunderstood. And he told me in stoic Cheney-esque fashion that he's very proud to have taken part in all the historic events that he did. This man has stood at or near the center of American power for 4 decades. But that he doesn't feel sorry for himself that he is unjustly caricatured. But it is one of my aims in writing Cheney One to rescue Dick Cheney from the realm of caricature, from the Darth Vader image, because he's too important for that.
Condi Rice, the former Secretary of State, they had a spat or two.
Yeah, they clashed on policy, as he did with Colin Powell. But he told me that in the case of Condi Rice, it never became personal. Whereas with Powell, and I sensed regret in Cheney's voice when he told me this, it did become personal. The irony there being that the two had worked very well together 10 years earlier in the first Gulf War. And
there's so much more. And if you haven't done all your holiday shopping, this, by the way, go out and get James' book. Give that as a gift. It's a very easy buy to buy a book. Amazon. Good Christmas present or a holiday present. Anyway, James, thank you.
Thank you, Greta.